He observed the defendant exit his vehicle, and the officer told the defendant to get back inside the vehicle. And the defendant responded, "Do I have to?" The officer exited the vehicle and attempted to detain the defendant. The defendant tensed up and locked his arms.
Okay, this one's wild. A simple traffic stop turns into an arrest just because the guy stepped out of his car. Judge Fleischer isn't buying the cop's story or the DA's charges. Something stinks here. Watch what happens.
Good morning, Mr. McLean. Sir, you're charged with interference with the duties of a public servant. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you.
The charge, interfering with a public servant. The defendant now faces up to 6 months behind bars and fines reaching $2,000. This is no minor thing. 6 months behind bars is serious business, and the fine is nothing to sneeze at.
You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Yes, sir. An officer initiated a traffic stop in Harris County, Texas, after observing the defendant exceed a speed limit of 45 miles per hour and make unsafe lane changes. The defendant did not have his driver's license, but told the officer his name and date of birth. While the officer was running the defendant's name, he observed the defendant exit his vehicle, and the officer told the defendant to get back inside the vehicle. And the defendant responded, "Do I have to?" The officer exited the vehicle and attempted to detain the defendant. The defendant tensed up and locked his arms.
Everything is conclusory. What has he done wrong? What?
It was the initial lane changes, unsafe lane changes, and the exceeding the speed limit that prompted the stop. And then at that point, he was just
Stop.
Right now, the defendant could easily make things worse. Anything he says might backfire. Luckily, the judge is sharp and shuts it down.
How exceeding speed limit? How fast was he going? I mean,
I spoke to the officer this morning, who told me that he was pacing the defendant at 54 miles per hour.
okay. In a what?
I'm sorry?
In a what? I mean, if it's on 610, he's fine, right? And then he's interference duties. What is he interfering with? What did he do wrong?
I think it was after the stop was initiated, the officer was running the plates, the defendant stepped out of his vehicle, the officer told him to get back in the vehicle, the defendant said, "Do I have to?" The officer told me that.
And that's the basis of arrest?
see how it
Can I
was.
speak, please?
Don't. Are you losing?
No, sir.
Okay.
This judge is a legend, saving the guy once again.
And Your Honor, furthermore, as he was attempting to detain him, he locked his arms and tensed up. So as he was attempting to detain him, following that incident of him telling him to get back in the vehicle. And it was that.
What's the basis for arrest?
It was just a temporary detention. He was just attempting to detain him while he was trying to
What's he
investigate.
doing wrong? What's he doing wrong?
65.
No, I don't think so. You can find no probable cause. No, it's just he gets out of the car, and then it just the virtue of fact him getting out in the car is interfering with the duties. Really? No. Just when you get into, just be careful out there, man.
Yes, sir.
Life is hard as it is.
Yes, sir.
When you get into, gotta be careful, man.
Yes, sir.
People always have to get you. Be nice. It's not hard.
I was
Things
being
will go well for you.
Too.
Look, I got it. I'm with you. Okay. Just hang tight with me for a second. Okay. All right.
Not every courtroom story ends in doom. There are sunny days too. Judges got a hard gig. Sometimes they got to drop the hammer, but they also got to know when things are overblown and let people walk. This dude lucked out. He got the right judge. He was looking at $2,000 in fines and maybe even some jail time. The first case turned out better than expected, which means we've still got time for one more short but shocking case.
He was just parked across the street.
No, no. What? Really?
He made the statements that he was.
I get it.
He was in the vehicle and he made the statements.
I took a shower today. No. I mean, you just make a statement. I mean, no, there's no proof.
To having knowledge of the suspension, and he was in the vehicle parked across the street.
But no one sees him driving.
He did make a statement.
No.
Hello, everyone. Today we are in Judge Fleischer's courtroom. This is a probable cause hearing where the defendant is facing charges for driving while license is suspended, with a potential penalty of up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. The prosecutor thinks this will be an easy case because the defendant admitted to the officer that his driver's license was suspended and that he was still driving. It should all be just a formality. But let's take a look at how the law views this, especially since we know Judge Fleischer sticks to the law and does his job well.
Sir, you're charged with driving while your license is suspended. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On December 2nd, 2024, officers were dispatched to a minor accident on Sam Houston Parkway. Upon arrival, the officer met with both parties of the accident as well as a witness. The witness advised that there were minor disturbances on scene in which a knife was brandished by the defendant who was parked across the street from the accident. The officer identified the defendant and discovered he had a mandatory suspension on his driver's license for a second DWI. And the defendant advised that he had still been driving for work. He had personal business despite having personal knowledge of the suspension. The defendant stated he was driving from San Antonio and was only waiting for his coworker who was involved in the accident.
Does he have an open DWI right now?
Does not appear so, Your Honor. It appears that the last DWI he had was in 2019 out of Bexar County. Bear County, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Patlan,
Yes, sir.
I want you to understand one thing. I'm going to find that there's... So wait a second. Someone saw him driving or did the officer see him driving? Because I didn't...
He admitted that he had been driving for work. And he admitted to having personal knowledge of suspension as well.
Did anyone see him driving?
No, Your Honor, there's only the
Do we
statement.
know even when he was driving?
There was an accident, so that's what dispatch involved, and then
Okay, so, all right, okay, so,
there was an accident, and then officers arrived, and then they made contact with the defendant.
got it. So all this was in response to an accident that he was allegedly involved in.
Yes,
Got it. All right. So I am going to find probable cause, Mr. Patlan. And no, don't. You have the right to remain silent, exercise. I've got about a bunch of DAs here. Anything you say, they're going to use it against you. But let me make something abundantly clear to you. I'm going to have you sign with me today an affidavit. This is a promise that you're making to me that you're not going to drive. I don't care what is going on in your life. When we mean no driving, we mean no driving. I don't care if there's a burning building and you have to save 50 kids. Do not drive. If you do, I can have a contempt hearing facing up to 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. Do you understand? I don't care what your excuse is. You cannot justify at all any reason. If you want to drive, go get a license, get liability insurance, and then we can talk. But until that point, I will even do this. This is the number to the DPS driver's license division. If you call them, they can tell you exactly what you need to do to get your license back.
Classes now, sir.
There may be, an SR 22. You may have to do all these other things. What you need to do is call them and they can advise you, but don't drive. Do you understand?
and Your Honor, I do have to make a correction. After reading the full DIMS, the defendant was parked across from the accident. It was his coworker that was involved in the accident. He was parked across, Your Honor, and I do apologize. After reading the complete DIMS, the officer wrote that the defendant was parked across the street from the accident, and he made a statement that he was waiting on his coworker who was in the accident.
So, the defendant was sitting across the street in a parked car, waiting for a coworker who had been involved in an accident. No one actually saw him driving, and even though he later admitted that he had been driving, the prosecutor might not really have a case here. Let's see what Judge Fleischer thinks about it, and what the law says.
No one sees him driving.
He was just parked across the street.
No, no. What? Really?
He made the statements that
I get it.
he was in the vehicle and he made the statements.
I took a shower today. No. I mean, you just make a statement. I mean, no, there's no proof.
To having knowledge of the suspension, and he was in the vehicle parked across the street.
But no one sees him driving?
He did make a statement.
No.
No one saw him driving. There are no witnesses, no evidence, no case. Although the prosecutor may have thought this was just a formality and that the story was over, this time the defendant got lucky. Let's hope he won't drive again in the future and risk up to 6 months in jail. Choose your next video. If you enjoy courtroom drama, brilliant attorney moves, abusers getting what they deserve, or other compelling cases, stay with us and watch your next video.